All right. Welcome, Common Sense for United America board. And it is the 16th of March, 2023. We're going to do a quick, we're officially calling to order. And we're going to do a quick roll call. So Leslie Crouch.
Here.
Beverly West.
Here.
And Ted Getchman. I am here. We're going to start off real quick like we normally do. Consent agenda. For the consent agenda this time, it's just approving the minutes as they have been recorded and uploaded onto our YouTube channel. If I could just have one person, I forget all the terminology now. Put forward motion. That's it. Motion to accept the consent agenda.
Yep, I put forward the motion.
Seconded.
Aye.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Unanimously passed the consent agenda. And now, okay, I want to talk through a few issues. And this is, I'm going to talk, this is me, and then I'll shut up and give you guys a chance to talk, but I want to go through the finances and talk a little bit about where we are on the research project and a fundraising update, which gets to the legal update as well. Okay, so we are on the verge of getting a bank account with Eagle Bank, and that should be in place sometime in the very near future. I've been hearing back from Nicole that it's gone through the board. It's been their board. It's been approved, our account. So we should be able to get it set up very soon, but I haven't heard yet what the next step is, which should be sending in our initial funding for it. We'll keep $100 in it. There's no fee to us for the account itself. It's just if you have less than 100 in it, after a while, it just closes. So we just need to keep a certain amount of money in there. We have that money set aside to go into it. But so we should have that set up in the very near future. And so we can start collecting donations. Talking to Leslie offline, the plan for donations right now, there is a program called Bloomerang, which is a donor management software program, but it also kind of does everything that MailChimp does as far as doing email campaigns and things like that. And it sounds like that it would run about $250 a quarter is what the cost of that would be. And as I'm learning it, as we're getting into it, it's like I will, we'll put that on the side burner for now. But it will allow us to put on a funding pop-up or a fund drive pop-up. So when people go to our site, there'll be a pop-up that says, hey, we've got our fund drive going on. We're trying to raise, $65,000. We're looking for, to get one supporter costs $43, all that kind of stuff, different levels, those sort of things. We will have that, but we won't be emailing any kind of funding requests out because I want to make sure that we're not going to have any problems as far as having solicitation registration in the different states, or what states do we need it in? Where do we have it? We have that in Nevada, but if I've got an email, I don't know where it's going. And we could run into problems with different states. So once we get enough money through the fundraising process that we can engage the foundation group and get our 501c3 effort underway, then they will be the ones who will be in the best position to advise us as far as how we can go forward now and do more direct solicitations. What states do we need to have solicitation registration in? What states are we okay not to? And we can take it from there. So fundraising wise, that's kind of that bigger picture. What questions do you have, Leslie, on any of that, if any?
No, I don't have any.
Bev, what questions do you have on any of that?
No questions.
Okay. The next thing I wanted to mention was the research update. Okay, so doing a research project. I think you're both aware. I've got the research proposal. I've been looking for a partner in the academic world, and I just got off a call with Bridget Callisto to talk about the IRB, which is the International Review Board, something that is required when you're doing research that involves human subjects. It has to be reviewed by a board if you're going to go get published. The bottom line is I have to find a researcher so to work with. If I do that, they're at a university, they will be able to fund for the IRB part. They will have a pathway forward to get the subjects. They will have a way to get the thing published at the end. So there's like 3 big pieces that I just don't have. So the plan is I just keep soliciting and we play the volume game, and I just keep trying to find somebody who's interested in doing this research project, grad student, any professor. And so that's kind of where that is. So every Saturday I'm putting out 20 requests, linking into anyone I can find, either through Braver Angels or through Star Voting or Center for Election Science. I've not heard anything back from Whitney. Even my last one saying, hey, it seems like you're not interested anymore. Hopefully,
Yeah,
that'll
I'm
get
so
an over.
surprised she dropped out. She seems.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
really enthused. So I don't know if she got guidance from Center for Election Science, or they said, no, we don't want to work with these group, or what, or maybe
Right,
she,
the Braver Angels thing all over again.
yeah, they're not. Well, I've got a weird angle with Braver Angels now. One of the things, because before they said, yeah, we don't really get involved with the legislation in this, and now they've got an initiative specifically on voting. It's more security of voting, talking through the issue of trust, what can be done to make our elections more trustworthy and that. And what they're trying to do is actually come up with a proposal that they're going through what are called common ground workshops, where you get like the Reds or conservative leaning people go to one side, liberal leaning go another. They come up with ideas, they come back together, they see if any of those mesh, and they try to come up with ideas that both sides sort of accept. And hey, that makes sense. Yeah, let's try that. And they're having a number of these to try to get, a sort of mutually acceptable solution on these different things. And so I mentioned, well, my whole program is doing this. We have a whole event that does that. And so I'm going to be a part of those common ground workshops on April 1st. And I know the person who's the lead for it, and I'm sending them my information and things like that. So it's a
And that's
way.
part of the Election Institute, Voting Institute.
This is part of Braver Angels.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Maybe Voting Institute, you got to play footsie with them for a while before they listen to new ideas from you. Just like Braver Angels.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The voting. Okay, hold on. Let's back up. So the Voting Institute. What do you?
Research project.
Yeah. So the research. So the bottom line for research project.
Maybe they're, they don't know you yet.
Maybe.
Takes a while to get.
Yeah. So that's the bottom line on the research. Is I have to find somebody in academia to come in and support. And I'm working.
Simon, what happened to him?
He's here. I talk to him like every couple of weeks. We have long, great conversations. He's doing amazing stuff in game theory, but this is just it's not his area,
Right.
Political science and stuff. And he's trying to think of people to reach out to who might, I've got a couple ideas for some different angles that I might be able to get a hold of the individual who came up with the majority judgment concept out of France, and maybe do something with him and as a potential way forward. Or again, seeing if there's anyone on the Star Voting Network, or just as I meet people in Braver Angels who are researchers, who might know grad students or people who are interested. It's just a matter of making contact and connections and networking and trying to find somebody. If you have anyone in the academic world or engage, they're probably not the right person, but they might know somebody who knows somebody who is.
I'll keep mine.
Yeah. So yeah, and you as well, Leslie, Tyler, or whoever, and that's, the research or reach out to Isaac as well, and Nate, and, we just keep those networks alive.
Yeah.
Any questions on that part?
No.
So the next one was fundraising update, which is a little bit different than the finance one. So we are, Bloomerang is kind of the plan to move forward. Like I said, it's going to be $250 to start. Now, I know we have each board member needs to give 250. I know that I've supplied mine, and neither of you have supplied your 250 into the kitty yet. So this might be one of those options to pay for like the first quarter of this Bloomerang program, if you wish to do that. There's also, we're going to have to end up, putting in for the money for the 501c3 when we eventually get enough money. So that's another option. It's not a requirement at this point. If either of you two are interested in putting money forward to that, I still do owe 50 as well. I've only put in 200 so far for the year. So I got a 50. So that's a way of funding that. But we are set to kick off on the 3rd of April with the media, with starting to send out regular emails. So this will be the email distribution. And the idea is, here's good, meaty, educational information about how to understand why this matters and what this is and what's important, in like a few paragraphs and things. Maybe you've seen some of those emails already. The fundraising campaign will start at the same time. And again, we've got our goal. I've got a basic number. I think it's around $45.73 for each supporter. We're going to go for 1,500 supporters. That comes out to $65,000, which is enough to cover all of the $60,000 for the public relations firm, if we get to that, but then also all of our costs for our insurance, for the directors and operators insurance, for the foundation group, for the different software programs we'll need, which would be the Bloomerang. It's really just going to be Bloomerang. They do everything that MailChimp does and GiveButter does. So I think they're probably going to be the one-stop shop for us for that. But then we'll also need a bookkeeping program, which like QuickBooks. And there's a couple other things I sent to you on that expense sheet. I'll update it for tomorrow. I am talking to the Bloomerang folks. If anyone else wants to get in on that call, you're welcome to, but they're going to give me a demo, walk me through. I've got all kinds of specific questions, so I'll leave it as open as available to you. Any questions on that stuff?
No, I can definitely chip in though for the 250.
Okay. And that is probably going to be best done then when we get the account started up.
Yeah.
Like put 50 into that and then have it come out of that. So then it's all the stuff is clean. The last thing. So yeah, legal update. We touched on that, and that's basically once we're just going to start doing this pop-up fundraising, see if we can get ourselves to that 3,000 or magic $4,000 mark, and then we'll get foundation group on board, and then we'll do the 501c3 and get ourselves to that next status. Until then, we're saying, hey, we're a Nevada nonprofit, but we are not a 501c3. Nothing on our stuff says we're a 501c3. So, and these are going to be small donors anyway. Nobody's looking for a tax break on $20 or $40. So I don't think it'll be a big deal. And since we didn't directly solicit, apart from when they actually get to our page, I think we're good to go.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That is all of that. With no questions there. Leslie, social media plan. What are you thinking that's going to look like? What's your plan?
Yeah. So kind of like that you and I talked about in the office, I want to pre-draft TikToks and Instagram. If we want to do the Facebook page, I can get that set up, have those pre-drafted in Twitter as well. And then on the Wednesday, I would like to do it once a week. So every Wednesday post something.
Okay. Wednesday on everything you're going to post, or is it Wednesday on one thing, or
Wednesday on every platform, but just one post for each platform every Wednesday.
Okay.
And I'll just, because I'm able to save drafts in each of those platforms, so I can already have a bunch of stuff pre-built and then just release every Wednesday.
Okay, so as far as the platforms,
Mhm.
because we've got like about 7, I think now. You're not going to do the YouTube,
Correct.
to the best of my knowledge. So you've got TikTok,
Insta, TikTok, Twitter.
Twitter.
I don't think we have Facebook, but we can set one up.
You have a Facebook.
Okay.
But do you want to do that one?
I can do Facebook. That's just as easy as the other ones.
Okay. And now I haven't set up the LinkedIn one yet.
Okay.
That doesn't feel social media-ish to me.
No, it's not.
Okay. All right. So it's really those 4. The TikTok, the Insta, the Twitter, and the Facebook. I think that's it, right? Because we're not doing Tumblr. And then,
Correct.
right. I'll try to get like a YouTube video up. I want to try to do a new one up each month and start getting into that process. None of them are going to be great. They're just going to, because I've started doing these ones. Oh, is this good enough? Let's revise this. And I might just take chunks from like the bar video, if not the whole bar video. Because Laura, somebody we're looking at for a position, really liked that one. And then you really like the other one, Leslie.
Yeah.
And, and so I've got a couple variants of that, but that's like, 2 right there that we already have done. And then this new version that features puppies, will be kind of, I like this presentation the best so far, but then again, I liked all of them as I was making them.
Yeah.
So I'll get putting some stuff up onto YouTube and try, because that also gives me some of those emails that are going to go out are ones that are talking about YouTube. Do you have all the passwords and everything else? Okay. Okay.
Good on those.
And I will say this, if we're switching off MailChimp right now, all of the media ones, and so you hear this as well, Bev, all of our social media sites are designed to funnel people to the sales funnel, the one page that tries to get them to subscribe. So as I move off of the MailChimp to the Bloomerang, if that's what I decide to do, I need to talk to them tomorrow. But that will mean giving you a new web address to send everybody to. But that's still the idea. Everything, we push everyone to that one, they subscribe. Now they're getting the emails and stuff. And now every so often on those, we say, hey, make sure you go to our webpage, become a supporter. And that's where also the donation thing pops up and where they can also, find out more about volunteering. Okay. Bev, do you have any questions on any of this?
Yep.
Good on that? Okay. Leslie, did you have anything else on the social media plan?
No, I don't. Unless y'all have recommendations, totally happy to take those.
Hold that thought. And when we get to, because this is a good lead into our next piece.
Okay.
I want to do a quick, as we always do, a little bit of our board training with our good friends at Get Fully Funded, but on volunteers. So not board members. But I also told Bev we've got our board task of trying to double our board membership by the May event. May 18th one. So I think I'm close to one. And just be aware that we do have a procedure for that. We do have a packet to send out to prospective board members. And there's a process that we're going to follow, which involves getting more than one of us involved in it. So someone will have to talk to Laura at some point. All that said, I'm going to share my screen and bring up the training. And then you disabled my participant screen sharing. Dude, host, let me share my screen. You do it under security. And then you can click share screen.
There you go.
Okay.
It did it on its own. I swear I didn't do it.
Yeah, it does. When you switch hosts, or I never activated it. So that's why that works that way. Okay. All righty. And where did it go? Where did it go? Where did it go? Where did it go? Here we go. Okay. So fun video time. Can you hear this?
No.
Can both you? Okay, hold on a second. That's because I did one of the great mistakes that you should never make when doing that. So a little gouge to everybody, when you go ahead and use, as you share, there is a little thing that says share audio. And I forgot to click that. So I'm going to click that this time. As I get back to our Zoom screen, because I have too many screens up. Okay, share, and now share sound. That's what I want. Okay, now you're going to get it. And play.
Help when you're building a new nonprofit. And
How's
not
that?
just any help.
Good.
You need a handful of key people around you who you can trust and who can do things that you're not good at. Those key volunteers can help you move forward faster and with less stress. On this episode of Fundraising TV, we'll cover how to find those key volunteers and get them working alongside you.
If you're looking for the best advice you can get when you're raising money for a nonprofit, Fundraising TV.
When your nonprofit is new and growing, there are dozens of tasks to get done. And since you're only one person and can physically only do so much during the day, you're not going to be able to get everything done by yourself. You'll end up frustrated, working too much, and burnt out. What you need are 5 key volunteers who can share the load and help you get things done. A key volunteer is someone you can trust to walk this journey with you. They're willing to take on a significant role in your nonprofit and get the work done even though they won't get paid for it. A key volunteer might be a board member or might not. They might be a friend or family member, a close contact of one of your board members, or a program participant. What they have in common is their commitment to helping you grow your fledgling nonprofit, even if they've never been part of a nonprofit before, and that's often the case. In some nonprofits, key volunteers might serve as the bookkeeper, the volunteer coordinator, the fundraiser, the marketer, the social media manager, the grant writer, or the program coordinator. Ideally, they'll take on tasks long-term that they're good at and you're not, freeing you up to spend your time on things that are in your areas of strength. That's where you'll be most productive, and that's what your new nonprofit needs you to be. If you've watched the episode on working in your unique brilliance, you know that we're talking about working above the line and getting help with everything that's below the line. The gist is that you don't need to work below the line. Those tasks are things that you're not good at, they drain your energy, and you'll probably grouch while you're doing them. So save the below the line activities for limbo. And look, it's okay to ask someone to do something that you don't like doing. I get that it feels weird. But remember that someone else might really enjoy doing those tasks, even if you don't. Just ask for help and people will tell you if they're interested or not. Before you go out looking for your first 5 key volunteers, get clear about what help you need. What tasks really need to come off your plate because you don't like doing them, they suck your energy, or you're just not good at them? Once you've made a list of tasks or roles, jot down a bullet point job description so that you're clear about exactly what you need a key volunteer to do. Don't try to recruit someone to take over the bookkeeping or build a website. That's too big and vague. You need a clear idea of the scope of the work so you can explain it to your new volunteer. Be sure to include the time commitment you're looking for so you and your volunteers can be on the same page and no one ends up mad or frustrated. As each new key volunteer says yes, provide them with a short orientation and training. Give them access to the information that they'll need and work out how you'll communicate about their work. You might have a weekly phone call, a video chat, or use an online project management tool like Trello. Don't expect them to take the initiative to let you know what's going on. You're the leader here, so it's up to you to set the precedent for how the work will get done and how the volunteer will keep you in the loop. The worst thing you can do is expect too much of your volunteer. If you leave it up to them to figure out how systems will be set up or how things are handled, you'll end up disappointed at some point. They probably won't do things the way that you want them done. So spend the time to create systems either before you bring on a key volunteer, or let the key volunteer help you design the system so they understand how the system works. And hey, systems are a good thing. They'll serve you now and for a long time to come. Okay, once you know what roles you need key volunteers to fill, start asking around to find people who are interested in helping you. Check with friends and family. Talk to your board and current volunteers. Ask program participants or other connections that you might have. You might only find 1 or 2 key volunteers to start with, and that's okay. Don't give up here. After a few months, ask again. You'll probably know more people by then, or someone's circumstances may have changed and they might be able to say yes now to helping you. That reminds me, don't try to twist anyone's arm or talk them into a key volunteer role. You need them to be fully aware of the job to be done and prepared to commit to the time it takes to get the job done. If you have to drag them in, you'll have to drag them around. In other words, they'll be a source of constant frustration for you. You'll want them to do the job right. Maybe they will, or maybe they won't, but chances are good that you'll be completely aggravated with them if they don't. Then you'll justify keeping them because at least they're doing part of the job right, and you'll probably not want to have to find somebody else. So you'll end up tolerating a mediocre job from a volunteer that you once expected so much from. So choose wisely. Growing a nonprofit is like birthing a baby. There's a lot of pain, but also a lot of pride. And if you like being in control, it can be a huge leap of faith to turn over your brand new checkbook to a volunteer. If this is you, think about what controls that you can put in place so the volunteer has standards to meet or limits on what they can do without your approval. Make sure that the systems that you've put in place are designed so that the volunteer gets the results that you want at the quality level you expect and the time frame you need. That's how you can feel comfortable turning key tasks over without completely giving up control. Now, one last little thing. Do you really need exactly 5 key volunteers? Probably not. You might make terrific progress with 4, or maybe you're lucky and you find 6. The point is that you need to strategically find a few people who can bring their skills, talent, and time to the table to help you grow your nonprofit. It's up to you to figure out what you need and go find those people. Noodle on this. Having 5 volunteers you trust to help you get critical tasks done will help you grow your nonprofit faster than you can do on your own. Key volunteers who are committed to the nonprofit's mission will help you make your dream a reality. Now it's your turn. Using what you've learned in this episode, decide on 5 tasks or areas of work that would make a huge difference to your personal workload or to your ability to grow your nonprofit. Define the roles as clearly as you can to identify exactly what skills you need and what the time commitment will be for each role. Then start looking for people to fill those roles. The faster you can get those 5 key volunteers, the faster you can grow your nonprofit and make a difference in the world, changing more lives. And that's what we're here for. See you next time on Fundraising TV.
Fundraising TV.
Always good stuff. Always good stuff on Fundraising TV. I got that closed now. So that's what I wanted to kind of hit for a little special topic this time. I have been having a fair amount of success with Volunteer Match. And Volunteer Match, you say, I need these kind of volunteers, and then people will contact you. There's a couple that I had thought right off the bat that we needed, knowing what I know about
I'm on video.
Bev's interest and Leslie's interest and my interest. And we'll talk more about those in a second. But so far, there's one for a bookkeeper, accounting, and another one for doing some reviews of like some of the writing stuff, like emails, that the email campaign, checking grammar, and then also is it, are the subject lines good? Is this too much information? Is it too confusing? That kind of stuff. So there's kind of a reviewer editor and position that I was looking at, and then an auditing position. And I received, I I had two people apply for or contact me about the auditing one, the bookkeeping auditing one. And I reached back out to them and I never heard back from them again. Recently, I have had two more. And I'm talking to both of them and they did correspond back. And I'm talking to both of them on the 20th. Curiously, I'm getting the sense that their primary language isn't English, and I'm not even necessarily sure what country they're from, but that's what the interviewing process is for. And we'll talk to them and see what they like, what they don't like. We do have one official volunteer, and that's Vroom. And he is the high school, I think he's a junior, or no, he's a high school senior. He's going to be 18 soon, and down in Austin. And he's the one I'm now sending kind of some of the emails and stuff to say, hey, because he's kind of our demographic anyway. You know, does this grab you? Is it interesting? Does it make sense? Is it too confusing? You know, give me your feedback. So he's kind of the person I'm bouncing stuff off of for that sort of thing. We have not, I don't think we've seen your brilliance chart, Bev, as far as what's above the line, below the line for you.
Yeah.
But what, between you two, what positions do we need? What volunteers should we be trying to like write things for so we could get those out to Volunteer Match or start looking for? Bev, what do you think?
For what? For what I
What
need?
volunteers? Yeah, what volunteers should we try to seek out?
I think you need, I mean, based on what you've been describing to me as what your goals are right now, I think you need people who can do fundraising outreach. Like you need development people, publicity people.
Okay. So
I
if
mean,
I
what
were,
level? Is it like Fiverr, kind of Upwork? Is it like that? Like,
no. This is their volunteers. Fiverr and
I
Upwork.
know, but I mean like that skill level, like not like publicists, but
It depends. Yeah, and it's going to depend on the individual. Like for instance, Vroom he's just the guy in high school, so he doesn't have any of those skills or that background or anything like that. Maybe somebody else, you know, we have these volunteers in Braver Angels and they're, you know, former directors of this or former that, or, you know, so very high level.
you could get fledgling people who want to learn, get in on the ground floor of, you know, politics. You know, people who are younger people who want to go into politics.
Right. But if we wanted them to do something for us,
Fundraising emails, you know, I would think, you know, like outreach.
okay. Now, fundraising emails we could do because we'll have to generate those inside a Bloomerang, and those will have to go out to do kind of the care and feeding of donors as they start to come in. So the fundraising, so dealing with fundraising emails and donor emails. So we'll put a fundraising volunteer.
Like volunteer court, you know, like people who can go out and find volunteers, like you know, like who want to change the world and start a chapter kind of thing.
Okay.
So
So
their school. I mean, I don't know, I'm just spitballing you.
no, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's what this is about.
We don't have a ton of administrative or operational stuff that needs to be accomplished. I mean, basically we need to do whatever it is that we got to do to draw people in.
Right.
Get involved.
Okay. So if we were to have a volunteer
Bodies.
coordinator, what would kind of be their tasks that they would have to kind of do each week, each month?
Go out and get people to sign up.
Yeah, give an update on progress, on how many
Right.
people that they're bringing in, how many people they've spoken to, how many people they've brought in.
So that are they coordinating volunteers or they're just recruiting people to become supporters?
Those are called volunteer coordinators, that position. Generally.
Okay. But if they're trying to bring in volunteers, I guess that's the thing. Volunteers to do what? What do we need our volunteers to do?
Well, one to help with social media posts.
Do you want someone to help with social media posts?
Yeah, I think that would be good.
Okay.
Eventually, not turn it over completely, but
No,
someone
no.
just
But
help
then
support that.
get
Yeah,
somebody else to do them, and they could even, then you
Yeah.
could do 4 of them or whatever. Okay.
exactly.
But I think the point is, don't you want to gather like a whole bunch of people, like up to like 5,000 or whatever it is? To hit some
Yes,
number?
but these volunteer match isn't gonna, that's not what that's going to do. And that's what the whole point of the public
Well, I'm
relations.
saying on volunteer match, get somebody to go as a volunteer to go out there and get people to sign up. Not as volunteers, but like as part of the movement.
Right, but that was kind of the whole reason why we were going after the public relations firm, is to do that. Is to build the
You
right
never have
products,
enough
do the right
audience.
direction, do the right focus for an area. I mean, we can, but
Your entire mindset should be about bringing people in.
yes, and it is. But to bring people in, we have to explain to them and educate them and that sort of thing. And that's what all of our websites for. That's what everything is for. So it sounds like what you're saying, or what I'm hearing, is let's use volunteer match to just get more people to come talk to us so we can convince them to be supporters. Just the same way as it would be for an outreach or an email or a social post or anything else.
Yeah, or maybe some kid wants to organize an event on their campus.
Okay.
I mean,
I'll try to put something together as far as, hey, this is what we think your hourly commitment is. This is what we would like you to do. These are the things, and I'll shoot that by you two and see if that makes sense. The social media post one I can do, and the fundraising one I can do, I think, without any problem.
What
the
about
Go ahead.
public speaking? Do you want a volunteer to help you do that, whether it's making videos or whatever?
It would be good to have someone, who's got video skills, or
Yeah.
we could like do the raw material, or even if they want to try doing their own public speaking,
Yeah.
basically video production.
Yeah.
that's a good
Okay.
idea.
Yeah. Okay. So,
Especially someone else who's in the States that can, do those
Right.
public speaking type roles.
yeah, or even like if they're not doing it themselves, get B-roll of
Yeah.
up in the States and,
Yeah.
something like that. Okay. So someone who is be interested in video production, or public performance, speaking, we'll just say public speaking. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Any other things? So if we have people doing all of that, and we've got someone who's helping us with our books and our auditing, and we've got someone who's reviewing the subscriber posts and the Substacks and those kind of things, that would put us in a pretty good position. Okay. All right. So we'll start with those, and I'll get something out onto volunteer match. I'll have you guys look at the volunteer coordinator one, just to make sure we're good to go on that makes sense to you, and it's meaning what you're saying, Bev, for sure. Okay, sounds good. That sounds like a plan. I've got that one for action. And the next thing, let's see. All right, we already talked about finding the new board members. The only thing I wanted to, emphasize again is, as you reach out, we do, anybody who you think might be a good fit, who is interested or this makes sense to them, we have a packet of information that you can get off of our G Drive or Google Drive. And if you can't get to that, let me know, and we, either A, I can just send you the material, or B, we'll make sure you can get to the Google Drive. But it's basically, here's stuff about who we are, what we would expect from a board member. It's about our giving, requirements, all the other background stuff. And there's also our board member packet that we use. Here's the process we go through. If we, first you find out if someone's interested. If they are, you give them the packet, then you have a conversation with them. And then if you're happy with them, you bring that concept back to us. We find somebody else who's going to go interview them, one of our other board members who's going to go talk to them. And if they come back with an affirmative, then we go back and we offer them, the opportunity to join. And if they say yes, then we bring them on board. As far as the legalities and adjusting the board as regards to the Nevada nonprofit thing goes, every August, I think it's like September 1st is when we set up our fiscal year. Or no, is it August or September? I think our fiscal year is like October 1st. I forget when we need to turn in our paperwork. But it's like August or September. We put in, this is the list of our board members. And so that's when they would get added to that list, because we have to do that annually anyway. But does everyone understand that process?
Yeah.
Do we have any questions about it? So if you find somebody you think is interested, you know what to do. All right.
I call you.
That works just as well. Say, hey, Ted, I've got someone. I'll say, great, give them this. And just don't, I guess the big thing is don't say, yeah, I'll put you on the board. It's like, well, they still have to understand what it is and see if it's a good fit for them. And we have to understand who they are and if it's a good fit for us. I don't want any crazy people. I don't want any dictators or weird prima donnas or stuff like that. We also have advisory board positions. So somebody who is like, really big on this or wants to donate or anything, it's like, that's great. We can put you on an advisory board. You're free to give us, come to these or we'll listen to what you want to say, but they're not voting members. That's the difference. They can't determine how we want to go forward. They can just give us advice and we will listen to it. So that is another option. Okay. No questions on that. Okay. I'm just going to open it up for a moment here because the last thing we're going to do is, I'll just do this now. The next board meeting we have is in May. It'll be the 18th. Same time. It'll be a slightly different time for you, Bev, because then we'll have our daylight savings time thing synced up again.
Okay.
So it'll be an hour off, but it's plenty of time to do this. And hopefully we'll have 6 board members at that one. That would be woo. That'll be pretty cool. But other than that, I'm going to open up the floor to anything anybody has. Nothing, Leslie?
No.
Are you good?
I'm good.
Bev, you're good? Nothing else? All right. Well, if that's it, then I'm going to go ahead and officially close the meeting for our Common Sense for United America. And we've got great things going on. We'll talk more about some of those other things here in a moment, but that's it. You can go ahead and stop the recording if you want, Leslie.